So now gets to the fun part, I think, which is mapping your opportunities. And this is where we really start from there's two different altitudes to start this. So just like you're doing financial planning, you might do a bottom up and a top down. Now that you have all this context, you have all this information, you've already done some of this mapping, I like to really approach things from a clustering perspective. And so just to conceptually explain what a cluster is, but a cluster is simply a strategic container. It's a container of strategy with a group of bets and pages of opportunities, aka pages that should exist but don't yet exist and should exist for a reason that's been validated, and existing pages that you already invested in that are hopefully driving results to you. And so all of these things are within a container, and that container or that cluster has a reason to exist, right? It could be because you're trying to influence a certain topic area or stage of the funnel, or there's a bunch of different patterns to these clusters. It's not like this rigid thing, but hopefully when you're talking about your strategy, there are lanes of bets that you're putting down. That doesn't mean it's the only thing you're doing. Just like with product, there's product work streams, right? And there's engineers assigned to those products work streams. There's campaigns. There's like go-to-market strategy aligned to some of these work streams of things that you're building. In marketing, hopefully we're doing the same thing, and we have these containers of strategy that we're executing against, right? And you're trying to measure the overall demand, and then opportunities, and also how many pages and briefs you have against those clusters, And so let me try to kind of give you a quick example here of a cluster, which is, let's just say this one, which is around like app security and code scanning. And then there's a brief here, and then it makes it a lot easier to kind of find opportunities, right? But all of this can be done regardless of what you're using. But what you want to make sure is that these opportunities are actually, they're quantified in a way that makes sense, right? And that you're using the right signals for quantifying these opportunities. And so just to give you an example here of kind of how we're validating these opportunities, you can see an example here where it's almost like a brief, right? Every opportunity. And what you're trying to figure out is, like, first of all, does it have a cluster attached to it? What are the topics related to it? What question are you trying to answer? Then classifying against your taxonomy, aka your context, and then hopefully scoring that opportunity based on relevance, demand, and difficulty for you to actually do well in that. But we're trying to pull together both SEO and AEO into this view, but all within the context of this specific topic or opportunity that you're trying to become the best answer to, right? But it's a dynamic unit because there's so many other opportunities and things to do here, and really you need help or come up with a methodology to try to constantly prioritize and figure out what to go execute, right? But a lot of this is some of the validation and some of the shaping so that you can make a decision whether or not to go execute something, right? And then the other thing that's really important is if you have a massive surface area. This is an example of a customer that has 2,700 blogs. They didn't invest in SEO for a while, and then they came back and invested more. And so really, we really came up with a methodology of kind of creating waves of what parts of their site to go focus on versus creating that new surface area as well. So that's something for you all to think about. So that's kind of like, how do you map against your existing surface area? So all your opportunities are, whether it's creating something new or rewriting, are mapped in the same place. And then that all leads to actually the work of accepting an opportunity and starting to execute this opportunity. If you're doing this in Claude or whatever harness you want to use, or however you want to do this, right? Even before I started GrowthX, I always had a brief. Whether it was me assigning it to a writer or a reporter or someone internally, I always had a brief, because you want to align on the intent of what you're trying to win. And what I found in the past is when you ask your expert or people in your teams to create a piece of content, whether it's using AI or not, and they don't have the context of what's missing out there or what's already ranking, what's already influencing AI answers around this topic, and they don't have the full context of everything else, then they might actually go and execute the wrong thing that's actually not going to do well. And so what we really try to do is to, whether you want to use AI for the brief, the opportunity, the validation, the planning, the research, and maybe do a lot of the drafting yourself, or you want to use AI for the first take and then you want to massage that and change that or make it your own. However your process is, and for different types of content, you might follow a completely different context. You want to make sure this is all in a place that's consistent and in a way that you have a consistent methodology to know, one, should you go do this opportunity, should you go execute this opportunity, and two, like, what is the right process to have, make sure you go from having a brief to, which is really like the pitch of go do this opportunity, to a plan, to then the rest of the process that I'm going to walk you through right now. Okay, so let's go through and just look at a specific opportunity here. This one is how AI agents resolve dependencies across multiple repositories. This is a fairly like a more technical topic here, right? Keep in mind, a lot of these things, you don't need to have a platform to do this. This is it's very biased, obviously, but it's not meant to be a sales pitch. But what you want to do is you start with a brief, and the brief has a lot of the demand already attached to it, you know, a linked opportunity there. And from there, you want to define an outline or a plan, right? But that plan shouldn't just be in a vacuum. It should have understanding of what are the things that you must cover based on search results, SERP, based on citations, based on people also ask, and based on your context and a bunch of other things, right? And also what kind of specific reader questions you want to answer, what are some different ways to differentiate and add depth of content, and just some references here. And then a lot of the work here is these agentic runs that might run for quite a while, and the process that they're using, right? From generating the research questions to then researching the topics to then drafting and doing a lot of the post-processing to remove any AI-isms, to make sure you have attribution back, cross-linking, and that it's aligned to your brand, and a bunch of other things, right? So you're going to have your own methodology here, but I would say do not hold back on research. I've seen so many platforms out there that, or tools out there where this is where they try to save tokens, and deep research is not the most expensive thing because there's so many amazing services out there. And really this is where we spend most of our time, which is decomposing these questions and then making sure you're using really high quality sources to actually do this research, because the quality of your output, the quality of your draft is very much going to be dependent on this, right? So you can see how much research it did on this topic in order to draft this. And you can see all the different sources that it used, which is informed centrally by our context, which has different tiers of sources that we care about, right? And then the next thing here is, okay, now you do whatever your process is and you have a great draft, and hopefully you're saving a lot of the deep research and sources you use in the research here, because you're going to need this later on, also as a way to validate whether or not some of the attribution to these sources got stripped or not. This is very important because this is what engines care about deeply, is not just the freshness of the content, but that it's well researched, well organized, well cited, and that you show that you're an expert in this topic. And what we want to do is really kind of make this process be a lot more about a review process in a way that you can actually parse those reviews, apply them consistently, but also save the traces and save what those reviews and those comments are, so that later on you can do another process to then go update your context. And I know this is a lot harder to do manually, but I would highly recommend doing some way of taking comments and being able to save those comments. And because if you're socializing a bunch of Google Docs out there and people are posting a bunch of comments, one, it's like a nightmare to manually resolve comments, and agents are much better at this. But also, you're losing so much context. You're using so much valuable information from your experts and from your stakeholders that could be used on other runs later on, and that could improve the quality of your context and everything else, right? And then all the way to getting it to publish, and that's kind of like the process of creating content. I know I skimmed through this because we have a whole other workshop that we've done on kind of content quality that we can send a replay.